So let me give you now let me put on my national security hat for a second. And I'm just going to caveat, I don't necessarily subscribe to this, but I think you'll appreciate this. You are now you're a two-star admiral. You're out of the Navy, out of the Special Operations Unit, and now you're on the Joint Staff, and you're a two-star admiral. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Deputy J2. And someone says, look, we've got this problem, this reality. We don't know what to do about it. We don't know where it's from. We don't know how it operates, but it can outperform anything that we have. And so, as a national security guy, you say, okay, what do we see? Well, these things are able to outperform everything we can do. Instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic velocity, transmedium travel, low observability, and possibly even anti-gravity. And they're interested, by the way, in our nuclear capabilities and our military equities. Okay, so what do we do about it? Well, sir, there's nothing we can do about it right now. Okay, I understand that. So there's only three scenarios. They're here for good reasons, they're here for bad reasons, or they're neutral like us. They can do, anything in between. If they're good, then we don't have anything to worry about, provided that their definition of good is the same as our definition of good, right? If they're here for bad reasons, well, what looks like potentially IPB, initial preparations of the battle space. These guys are doing reconnaissance on our military capabilities, have the ability to interfere even with our nuclear launch sequences. That's not really, oh yeah, they're here to do nice things. And then if you listen to the stories of people who actually claim to come up close and personal, if I were to put on my special agent hat, look, if anybody takes you against your own free will somewhere, right? Let's call it what they call the abduction aspect to this. That's a federal crime, dude. That's called kidnapping. Okay. And by the way, if somebody touches you without your permission, that's assault. So now we can start racking up the federal charges here, right? Of what you're guilty of. That to me is not anything that's nice. If someone is actually interfering and doing things like that to somebody, I don't consider that a nice thing. I'll give you an analogy that might help your audience kind of better understand why I think this topic is so important. Intent aside, and then I'm going to give you a real case scenario with the U-2 spy plane that you might find very interesting about exactly highlighting this topic. Actually, we'll start with that first to highlight your question about, why don't we just come truth open and kimono about this? So in the 1950s, again, Cold War was really cranking up. We wanted to look at Russia to see what their ICBM and missile development looked like. So there was a treaty said we couldn't fly over mainland Russia. And so what do we do? Lockheed Skunk Works with the CIA built the U-2 aircraft. And the U-2 aircraft was a plane that was going to fly so high and so fast that the Russians would not even be able to see it, let alone shoot it down. And so what happened the first few times we flew it? We succeeded. The Russians didn't react. And so clearly the plane did exactly what it was intended to do. It wasn't until the Russians developed the SA-2 surface-to-air missile and successfully shot it down and paraded the powers, the pilot, in front of the United Nations and the wreckage of the aircraft, did the Russians admit they'd been tracking every single flight. They didn't even admit to their own people that they had a problem until they had a solution for that problem, right? Why admit there's a problem to something until you have a solution for that problem? And the U-2 is a perfect example of that. The Russian denied to their people that the U.S. had no capability until they were able to shoot it down and neutralize it. And this could be the very same thing here from a national security perspective. Maybe you've got things going on that we're not comfortable yet admitting there's a problem that we don't have a solution for. Look at the drones. Look how people are reacting right now to what could potentially be conventional drones, and we can't even stop that. Can you imagine how people would go literally apoplectic if they found out that there is some sort of life form out there or some sort of technology out there that's not ours, that's able to do whatever it wants? That does not create that warm, fuzzy feeling in most people's hearts. And I can understand from that perspective, from a national security perspective, why maybe you don't want to tell everybody everything about this topic. There's also political considerations. Look, I won't go into detail here, but RDI, renditions, detentions, interrogations program, and Cuba and black sites, that was very, very secret information until it wasn't, right? And it wasn't until that information started to get leaked out, and then Congress had a hearing, and then had in a big investigation, did that entire program ever become revealed to the general public? So it's not uncommon that we don't tell the American people everything. What is uncommon if we don't have a solution for something, um, like this drone issue, this is not a hard problem to fix unless there's something else to it that they don't want to tell the American people. And that is my fear regarding the drone issue, and to some degree, even the UAP issue. You know, I've got a problem when they've spent a whole lot of time telling people there's nothing to see here, and then they turn around and say, well, actually, yeah, there is something to see here, and we've been tracking it for a long time. Let's not forget, you have a former director of the CIA, right, Brennan. You have a former director of national intelligence, Radcliffe. You have two former presidents of the United States all saying, yes, there's something to this topic. That this is something serious. We need to take the UAP topic and UAS and even drone topic very seriously. Um, I don't know what else people expect. You have the senior leaders of our nation saying that. You have members of Congress who've been briefed on this topic already. They know what's going on
Yeah.
regarding the issue. The question is, how do we have that conversation with the American people?